Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Raw review of us, the British Fist.
Captain!
I'm Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is none other than Terminator NJ.
What's up?
What's up, indeed? Subscribe above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this show and the big news that happened on Raw down in the comment section below.
And you better contact us in the link in the description box below.
Yes, indeed.
Now I've got a message for you worthless mortals. Because of the news that happened tonight on Raw, I've been informed to stay out this video, but I will be here later this week, so be prepared to see me again. And all I'll say, mortals, is beware.
Yes, as you know, we really want to get this out of the way first because we feel this is a real big issue we need to address. The review itself, for me, is going to be kind of uncomfortable because of what happened to Jerry Lawler on the show. As we know, during the show, Jerry Lawler had some kind of heart attack or seizure, and like I said, the last hour of Raw was very, very uncomfortable to watch, which is why Terminator NJ has been out of this review and why we're going to be bringing NJ into this review. So yeah, I mean, this news was awful, and right there, mate. News was awful. I mean, he had a seizure during the match. It was really uncomfortable to watch afterwards, and we saw towards the end of the night that he was okay, which is a good thing because, goddamn, I was really starting to get worried, especially when Cole was silent on commentary for a while there. It was really hit and go for a second.
The thing about this is, throughout the night, we did get a bit of a spoiler. We did get the idea that he may be wrestling. Obviously, they did not make that happen. We got someone else instead. And then throughout the night, it seemed things were going fine with commentary matches. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, during the break, we get to know that he collapsed. And it was just a really sad moment because you really didn't expect it. There weren't any signs of it. They weren't pointing it out. Lawler seemed a normal self. And it just could be a real shock. So even got in the ring and wrestled a little bit against Punk and Ziggler. But it's just a really horrible moment. And the mood of the show just drained big time.
And the mood in the room that we were in immediately went down as well. And to be honest with you, it will be kind of a strange review that we'll do, but obviously we have a lot of respect for Jerry Lawler as a performer and of course as a part of the WWE. So our respects go out to Jerry Lawler, and we hope he gets better soon. Like I said, we heard his condition that he was stabilised at the end of the night, but we hope, like Cole said, that he does pull through this like the King would.
And at the end of the night, we could see that the whole atmosphere, especially in the final match, the matches that weren't too important, but it got to the interview with the scene at the end, it just completely felt different. There was only one commentator talking, and you could tell that the whole show had just changed completely.
Oh, yeah. And just for the record, this may not be a usual review from us, but we will get through this as well as we can, really. It affects you a little bit when something like that happens and you're trying to judge what happened on the show, etc. So, do you want to just get started on the opener and work our way through, and we'll just do it that way and see how it goes?
And one thing, people.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up, indeed? Let's get the mood going up here. So, like I said, comment your thoughts on Jerry Lawler and all that in the comment section below. Wish happy prayers to him, prayers for Jerry Lawler, and also put your thoughts on the show in the comment section too. So we're in Montreal, Canada for this show, 15 years after the Montreal screw job. We open up with Canada's own Bret Hart to a very nice pop after 15 years and this opening segment for me, it was a really nice way to try and get some heat on CM Punk, putting him not just in there with a bona fide legend Bret Hart, but also they knew that Punk was going to get booed by it because he was in the ring with Bret Hart pretty much.
Even though the WWE, I've said before, seemed to sometimes overuse Bret Hart, but with this particular show, the fact he was in his hometown made sense. And for him to come in, yes, his speech was more on talking about the past, but it built up for a good way for Punk to work off that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. He worked off it, he got some heel heat, exactly what WWE needed to get on CM Punk at some point. And this was a smart way of doing it, having Bret Hart in his home country, having Punk come out and interrupt the home country guy, and that got some heat on him.
And then it went all down the whole respect. You need to do respect, you need to respect me, the fans need to respect me. So it went down that. So I guess the whole Punk thing is now going to be about respect until he loses his championship or something. But this was an okay. It was about 20-something minutes, but it definitely got Punk some heat they needed.
I mean, to me, it was a very... I thought at the time this was a good opener simply because of the fact that it got Bret Hart on TV and you're associating him with CM Punk and you're getting a lot of heel heat on Punk, who is now the WWE's top heel. So I'd say this was a very good opener in my opinion. We then move on to the tag match. We have Kofi and Truth, the tag champs, versus the Intercontinental Champion Miz and Antonio Cesaro, the US Champion. You know, I'll say this... Not sure why 3 of the championships are in one segment going into Night of Champions.
As soon as I saw Miz come out, I thought, okay, you've had Miz lose matches, and on the go-home show, your last chance to make Miz do something big, impressive, get a win. You combine him into a match where you got to decide who you're going to make win.
Yeah.
Are you going to make the tag champ win? Are you going to make the Intercontinental champ win? Are you going to make the US champion? So I really did not like how they were doing this. Yeah, it combined all the titles in one match, but the matches throughout the night, you could simply have had a singles match early in the night, late in the night.
Yeah, the match ends with Kingston winning with the Trouble in Paradise. I guess my question here was, could you have had primetime players interfere, maybe DQ or something? I don't really know. But at the end of the day, the tag champs win clean. And the Cesaro going on about the prestige. Since when does that US title have prestige, really?
Hopefully he's going to try and give us meaning to it. But with this match, I don't know. Maybe the faces have always been on commentary, not a part of the actual matches, so they haven't had enough build. Miz hasn't hardly done anything. Cesaro's only beat Santino, so to be honest, I think the heels had more of the likely chance of winning, but the WWE thought differently. So I was against it for so many reasons.
We have a pre-show match for the pay-per-view. We have a number one. We're going to determine a number one contender for Cesaro's US title in a battle royal. You would have thought that WWE going into a pay-per-view where all the championships would be defended, that they would have an opponent kind of decided by now for a guy like Cesaro in the US Championship.
And people, for you that can remember, the last battle royal and pre-show, we got a return of someone. I'm not expecting it to happen again, but I expect someone different to Santino to hopefully win this.
Hopefully so. We then get onto this segment with Sheamus and Natunga. They had a lot of video packages going into this, and we basically got what was a very corny Law segment with Sheamus and Natunga going back and forth, you had Sheamus who kind of actually really corny, telling stories and joking in a lawsuit segment. The bottom line to me with this whole thing is, I understand trying to do a lawsuit thing as there is a suing culture in America, but at the end of the day, WWE is all about people settling feuds with fights, and it just bugs me when WWE do stuff like this.
Even though we do like backstage or outside of wrestling segments, the way they went all down the lawsuit, Sheamus was still being his jokey face character, Natunga was being the boring lawsuit guy, and Ricardo was just sitting there. I don't really like it. It went on for a bit longer than it should have, and I guess it didn't really accomplish anything because Sheamus kicks a camera and
exactly. So I don't really think it accomplished what it needed to. It was quite boring in my opinion too. And seeing Sheamus act like he was, it was like, I don't know. But we'll move on. Layla, Eve, and Caitlyn versus Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox turned heel out of nowhere, didn't she?
I didn't even know she still had a contract.
Yeah, well, the match was short. Eve gets the victory, and you kind of think to yourself, is she going to be interjected into that match that they're going to be having at the pay-per-view now?
Number one, Eve is not really a wrestler anymore because she got involved with Booker T, so she should be outside of wrestling now. So the fact that she's wrestling, fighting towards the championship, she should have just stayed as a diva. And if she gets put into the match, I don't really care because it's not really going to change the outcome. I still see Layla retaining.
In a pretty meaningless Divas match, to say the least. We'll move on. We had CM Punk versus... we had a Raw Active match where we got to decide between Brodus Clay, Jerry Lawler, and Randy Orton. And Randy Orton won the poll. So in our main event, CM Punk versus Randy Orton was the match. The crowd were pretty split in this match. You had Randy Orton chants, CM Punk chants. Let's face it, just after Punk has actually been the most over guy in the company, it was always going to be hard to get him over as a heel. It's funny how they booed him in the ring when he was with Bret Hart, but when he's in a match with Randy Orton, they seem to cheer him. It's just...
It was a bit different, but obviously he gets different reactions. Like at the very open when he came out, it seemed a bit positive, and it's only when he starts talking he gets the negativity. But this match, yes, I really thought, I'm not going to lie, I thought this could be another Lawler match. I really did, just because I thought the fact that he's been over before, he's faced Punk, he wants to get revenge on Punk. I really thought he was going to wrestle there. But Orton, I guess as he's going to get the pay-per-view, he deserves this match. That's why I think it may have been a little bit rigged. But unless people really want to see Orton wrestle, but this match just changed for the worse.
I mean, the match was pretty good in my opinion. I mean, you'd expect that from CM Punk and Randy Orton. You have Dolph Ziggler interfere. It just really bugs me that Orton always has to be booked like a dominant face sometimes. You have Lawler coming in and saving the day. They're trying to get... I'll say this though. They gave Cole heat for not pointing out that Punk did the rock bottom on Raw a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't point out that Punk used Bret Hart's top rope elbow. Just pointing that out, that's all. But the match was pretty decent. Ziggler interferes. That leads us on to a tag match, didn't it? Which was kind of like AJ Long.
And talk up the match it referred to. We actually found a live stream, so they show temporarily just the first few matches. You can watch the matches during the break, and AJ makes this match instead of doing it on TV where people are going to make sense of it and know what's going on. It happened during the break, and I don't know why they had to add the second match, maybe to fill up time, but for this, it was the faces dominating the heels throughout most of the time to get to the point at the end.
It was Punk and Ziggler versus Jerry Lawler and Randy Orton. You had the big part of this match was that you had Paul Heyman coming down to the ring, and we got this camera angle of Lawler. Sorry, we got this camera angle of Heyman and Punk, and you can barely hear them talking about how much Montreal sucks, and the camera isn't even on Orton getting the clean win on Ziggler.
The whole thing about this is, number one, yes, Heyman was distracting Punk, but you had Vicky going on and on and on, like, hey, look at me, look at this. I thought, shut up! And it just went on a bit, and then obviously the match ends in a way that no one's really surprised. Ziggler's not really getting the booking he needs to, but I guess with Lawler there and Orton being the powerful guy he is, Ziggler won't really get much of a chance.
Indeed. So I guess it continued on the Orton-Ziggler feud, which is going to be having an Night of Champions. I will say this, though. I do wonder why, especially with what happened to Jerry Lawler later on, like why WWE are putting him in a lot of matches, especially if with his condition. Now, I think with what's happened, they probably won't put him in too many matches, which I think is definitely needed, in my opinion. We had Ryback versus Heath Slater. My highlight of this was I saw FCW talent Brad Maddox as the referee. Ryback gets another victory. That's pretty much all we can say. It was kind of there to fuel a Zack Ryder versus Heath Slater feud, really, wasn't it?
All I'm going to say is Big Show is definitely needed here because I really want to see Big Show and Ryback, but Big Show's disappeared somewhere, so somewhere in the future.
And this is where the show got into a real lull. Not a bad lull, but in the sense that this is where the Lawler incident happened, and there wasn't much commentary for the rest. There wasn't any commentary for the rest of the night, so the show kind of felt weird. And the show really just felt very weird, and it was very, very, very weird to watch. You had Daniel Bryan and Kane. They teamed them up in a backstage segment as part of the anger management. They were going up against the Primetime Players in a #1 contendership match. I thought the Primetime Players already won a #1 contendership match to face the tag champ.
They did, but AJ's going loopy, and I guess this is adding more to that, making us seem to go against what's already been booked and making it go crazy. Yeah. But with the Primetime Players, to be honest, people, yes, they're entertaining, but I've never really got behind them as much as I should have. And it looks like the W don't really like them that much for what happened tonight.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's mainly due to the fact that AEW has gone. Now, I will say this. It seemed at the time the crowd weren't really into this, but then we found out during the match that Lawler had some sort of heart attack at ringside, so all the concentration was on that. So there wasn't really much crowd reaction during this match. You had Kane chokeslamming Daniel Bryan onto Darren Young, and they get the victory. So they're the new #1 contenders going into Night of Champions against Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. I think that having these two as a team is the right way to go with this anger management angle.
Well, to be honest, I really thought that this could have been a way for Primetime Players to get a big win over two big guys to look ready for Night of Champions, but instead they've got new #1 contenders. And I think temporarily this is going to build up to they're going to work together, and so not work together, break up and have another match against each other, probably at WrestleMania or something. But for that sake, it worked, I'll just say that.
Yeah, I can't really give my overall thoughts on this segment simply because of what happened to Jerry Lawler. I don't really think it's fair if I do. You have Del Rio versus Tyson Kidd next. The crowd, I must say this, the crowd went, considering that the show was in a bit of a lull, the crowd went nuts when Tyson Kidd put the sharpshooter on Del Rio, didn't they? The crowd went freaking nuts. But I didn't feel this match generated as much heat for Del Rio as it should have until the post-match promos when he talks about the Montreal being all peasants.
I think, again, the match, it was Tyson Kidd, a guy that should be on TV more, getting a match against someone's Del Rio, but the match didn't really deliver much. The Del Rio speech at the end, again, he's making his focus on Sheamus, continuing that to Night of Champions. So for that, I think the build towards their match throughout Raw has been a good focus.
It would probably get more focus on SmackDown, which is why they probably had them in 2 squash matches, essentially, because after this you had Sheamus versus Otunga. Just seeing this as the main event of SmackDown, I really didn't care too much about the match. I was more worried about what was going on with Jerry Lawler. Really, at this point in time, there was no commentary. I saw Michael Cole sort of crying a little bit at ringside, writing stuff down. I was more worried about what was going on there. But you had Sheamus hit the bro kick on Otunga. Booker T comes out saying that if Sheamus uses the bro kick again, he'll be stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Well, AJ came up first, yeah, right.
It's her show, I guess. So.
SmackDown feud.
But it's on
AJ
Raw, so.
Still made stupid, because why do that? And also Booker T interrupts. It was just stupid bringing up AJ. But, yeah, Sheamus won.
It was particularly Sheamus won. We'll move on to... We had Ray versus Cody Rhodes. This again, it didn't really look like these two really wanted to be out there because of what happened, but they did put on a good match for the situation. You had Miz interfering to allow Cody Rhodes to get a win for the first time in 2 months, and then Rhodes hits the crossroads on Miz and holds up the IC belt, and it's like, are we going to get a 4-way at the pay-per-view with Sin Cara, Rhodes, Miz, and Ray?
That's the way. As soon as I saw that, as soon as Cody Rhodes took down Miz without any proper reason, I thought. The fact instead of doing 2 separate matches at Night of Champions, like a filler match, just combine them all into one. But you're going to see Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara fight. I thought they were going to be a tag team. Maybe they'll work well together in this. But if it's going to be a fight 4-way, something different to 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, I say go for it.
It's just a shame that this is the first match Cody Rhodes has won in some time, and now he's going after the IC belt again, which he did bring back to Providence, but... At least it should be a decent 4-way match. If they go down that route, they may just go down the triple threat route.
Well, they got one night to book it.
Yeah. And then we get to what was definitely the highlight of the night. And it's very interesting that I say that, especially after what had happened to Jerry Lawler. Because I was really worried about the situation. But this was a highlight of the night for me. And I really do commend John Cena and CM Punk for going out there and putting on this performance, especially considering the conditions. We had the Bret Hart interview with John Cena. You notice that we got a lot of CM Punk time tonight, and John Cena was only really in that main event slot.
The thing I noticed about this before we get to that is, when Cena came out, I really thought that he would have said something about Lawler, just because he's the guy to listen to, the guy to show respect to his friend Lawler, who we've seen the last few weeks. But he didn't really get it, he got straight to the point. Maybe you could blame Bret Hart for not sticking to it, because he went straight to the point as well. But I really was hoping more from Cena.
I guess they were trying to be professional, and they were told to get on with the segment as it was. We don't really know. Even with Bret Hart announcing him, it's funny that John Cena got a very mixed reaction coming out. Bret talks about Punk Cena reminding him of Michaels and Bret Hart, and they kind of play off this, because you get Punk coming out saying that he's better than Shawn Michaels, he's better than Stone Cold, and he's better than The Rock, and I say that because I am. And then Cena, in my opinion, cuts what was, under the circumstances, a fucking good promo, in which I felt he spoke a lot of truth about the backstage politics in the business with regards to CM Punk.
CM Punk throughout the night did lift himself up a lot higher than where he is, which, again, with all the people that have been putting him down, he definitely needed something to try and pick him up. But this, as much as it may have been a good promo from Cena, in my opinion, Heyman could have been needed to help Punk out here, because, in my opinion, Cena put Punk down again.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was booked this way, but you had John Cena. It seemed like he was going all shoot on CM Punk, didn't it? You had talking about the change never happened, because it was never about the change. It was all about making CM Punk a star. Talking about how selfish CM Punk. Whether it was true, whether it was shoot or not, it did seem like a lot. There did seem a lot of truth in that promo segment. But goddamn, did this get me hyped for their match after watching this promo segment. Jesus, this was a really good main event segment in my opinion, especially on a go-home show.
Pretty strongly done. But all I'll say is that the whole night, it gave us things that looked like Night of Champions, but you don't really get Night of Champions really mentioned or involved, apart from the match that we're getting was showing throughout the night. Yeah,
and if you want my overall thoughts on the show, I kind of felt a little bit uncomfortable throughout this review with the Jerry Lawler thing, but I really don't want to grade the show or judge the show or anything simply because of the circumstances. So I'll let you guys give me your thoughts on the show down in the comment section below. Do you have anything more you want to say? Do you think they probably should have followed up a bit more on the Heyman stuff? Or?
I think Heyman just definitely needed more than just coming out to Punk and then backstage Punk saying, I'm a Heyman guy. He definitely should have come out probably in the main event to help Punk out, just to add more to Heyman, because I really don't know what Heyman's doing or where it's going to lead. If he gets involved at Night of Champions, they've had a whole go-home show to do more with it, but I think they just delayed it a bit.
Yeah, so like I said, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and our prayers will be with Jerry Lawler. I hope you get better soon, as soon as you can, buddy. Because that was very uncomfortable for me personally, and I know it was uncomfortable for you as well, watching that Raw after what happened. So, would you like to give us an outro, please, NJ, to this Raw review?
Well, people, all I can say is please give as Michael said, all the hope you can. Keep your eye out on Jerry Lawler's growth and getting better. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, Terminator NJ who's left. Till next time, YouTubers. Goodbye.